The rain hadn't stopped since morning, as if the sky itself was mourning the death of Daniel Hayes, a good man who never had much money but always had enough love for his little girl, Emma. The tiny church in their neighborhood was nearly empty after the funeral. Only a handful of people had come, mostly neighbors who knew Daniel from the hardware store where he worked. 9-year-old Emma stood silently near the coffin, her small fingers curled tightly around the hem of her faded yellow dress, the same dress her father always said made her look like sunshine. But today, she felt like the sun had left her world completely. When the service ended, her stepmother, Vanessa, didn't offer a hug or even a gentle word. Vanessa had married Daniel only a year earlier, and everyone knew she never liked kids, especially not someone else's. "Let's go," Vanessa snapped as she clicked down the steps in her sharp black heels. Emma followed, hugging her worn-out backpack, everything she had left. Outside, the rain picked up, and Vanessa pulled out her umbrella without even glancing at the girl walking behind her, soaked and shivering. They reached the small house that had once been filled with warmth and laughter when Daniel was alive. The moment they stepped inside, Vanessa's tone changed, colder than the storm outside. "You need to grab your things," she said flatly. My things? You're not staying here. This house belongs to me now, and I'm not raising someone else's child. I barely tolerated you while your father was alive." Emma's throat tightened. "But where will I go?" "That's not my problem." Vanessa thrust a small cardboard box toward her. "Whatever fits in here. You have 10 minutes. Emma's hands trembled as she packed what little she owned, her father's old flannel shirt, her storybooks, the bracelet he made from tiny beads, and a photograph of the two of them fishing by the lake. 10 minutes later, Vanessa grabbed the box, shoved Emma toward the door, and pushed her outside into the rain. The door slammed. Emma stood on the small porch, her hair plastered to her face, tears blending with the rain. She was alone. Truly alone. She didn't notice the black luxury SUV parked across the street until the door opened and a tall man stepped out, holding a large umbrella. He was in his early 40s, clean-cut, dressed in a dark gray coat, and carrying a kind of quiet strength in his posture. His name was Mason Clark, one of the city's youngest self-made millionaires, though no one would guess it from the humble way he carried himself. Mason had briefly met Daniel years ago when they worked on a local community project, and he admired the man's honesty and kindness. He had come to the funeral quietly, not wanting attention, just to pay respects to the man who once helped him during a difficult time. What he didn't expect was to see Daniel's daughter abandoned in the rain like she meant nothing. "Emma," he called softly. She stiffened, clutching her backpack. Yes? "It's Mason. I knew your dad. I'm so sorry about what you're going through." His voice was gentle, steady, the kind of voice that made her feel safe, even though nothing in her world felt safe anymore. Emma swallowed hard. "She told me to leave. I don't have anywhere to go." Mason looked at the closed door behind her, his jaw tightening. He knew Vanessa was cold, but this was cruelty. "You're not staying out here," he said firmly. "Your father would never have wanted this." He held out his hand, slow and steady, giving her time. "Come with me for now. We'll figure it out together." Emma hesitated only a second before placing her small, shaking hand in his. He wrapped his coat around her shoulders as they walked to his SUV, shielding her from the rain. Inside, warmth filled the car. Mason handed her a soft blanket and a thermos of hot chocolate he kept for his own kids when they were younger. "Drink," he said gently. "You're freezing." Emma sipped slowly, tears still slipping down her cheeks. "Daddy always made hot chocolate when I was sad." Mason's heart twisted. "Your dad loved you very much." They drove to his home, a large, modern house, but filled with warmth, books, soft lights, and photos of his late wife and children. Mason's kids are grown now, living in different cities, but the house still felt like a place where love lived. He guided Emma inside, letting her warm up, letting her breathe. Later that evening, after she fell asleep on the couch clutching her father's flannel shirt, Mason made some calls, to his lawyer, to child services, to anyone who could help ensure Emma never had to return to the woman who tossed her into the rain. The next morning, everything changed. Vanessa woke to loud knocking. When she opened the door, she saw Mason standing there, flanked by a lawyer and an officer. "You illegally evicted a child,"
the lawyer stated, "and you attempted to discard her belongings. This will be handled accordingly." Vanessa's face drained of color. "What do you want?" "For Emma," Mason said, his tone firm and calm. "A safe home, one that she deserves." Days later, in a quiet family court, the judge reviewed everything: Emma's testimony, neighbor statements, and Vanessa's cold behavior. The decision was swift. Emma would stay with Mason. When the gavel struck, Emma looked up at him with wide, hopeful eyes. "Do I really get to stay?" Mason bent down, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "As long as you want. You're safe now." For the first time since her father's death, Emma smiled. A small, fragile smile filled with hope. And for the first time since losing his own family, Mason felt his heart open again. A broken little girl and a lonely millionaire, both finding family in each other when they least expected it. A new beginning born from kindness.